Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's time for us to move ahead with the remaining part of the glossary of legal terms. The first phrase today is Xennial contract. Xennial contract refers to agreements rooted in hospitality, cooperation, or cross-cultural exchange. It emphasizes mutual respect and a goodwill in a contracting, often seen in international or diplomatic context. Such contracts promote long-term cooperation beyond a strict commercial terms. The next term is penalty. Penalty is a legal or financial punishment imposed for violating a law, regulation, or a contract. In a contractual context, penalty clauses deter breaches, but they must not be excessive. Its purpose is deterrence, reparation, and maintaining order. The next term is restorative justice. A restorative justice focuses on repairing harm caused by crime through reconciliation among victims, offenders, and communities. It emphasizes dialogue, restitution, and accountability over retribution. Programs like mediation or community service often yield positive outcomes. The next phrase is ex-lease agreement. Ex-lease agreement is a specialized lease not denoted with a X, often used for experimental or cross-sector arrangements. It defines the rights and duties of a lessor and a lessee with a unique project-specific conditions. Like standard leases, it must be legally enforceable. The next phrase is principal-agent relationship. A principal-agent relationship arises when one person, that is the agent, is authorized to act on behalf of another, that is the principal, in legal or business matters. The agent's actions can bind the principal, provided they are within the scope of authority. This relationship is governed by contract law, fiduciary duties, and agency principles. The next phrase is nisi prius. Nisi prius refers to a court where civil cases are tried by a judge and a jury at the first instance before any appeal. It allows disputes to be resolved locally before moving to higher courts. The term primarily applies in common law systems for trial-level proceedings. The next phrase is public hearing. A public hearing is an official meeting where governmental or regulatory bodies receive input from the public on proposed actions, policies, or decisions. It ensures transparency and public participation in decision making. Its scope includes administrative, legislative, and planning matters. The next term is nepotism. Nepotism is the practice of favoring relatives or close friends, especially in employment or appointments. It undermines fairness and meritocracy in institutions. Laws and policies against nepotism often apply in public administration, corporate governance, and professional organizations. The next phrase is public policy. Public policy refers to principles and standards established by law or government action that guide the functioning of society. It can influence legislation, judicial decisions, and administrative practices. The scope includes health, safety, welfare, economy, and social justice issues. The next phrase is nobile officium. Nobile officium is the inherent power of a court to provide remedies when the law is silent, deficient, or unjust. It is used sparingly to prevent unfairness without overstepping legislative authority. Its scope is mostly within equity courts and certain high courts. The next phrase is private company. A private company is a business entity owned by a limited number of shareholders with restrictions on share transfer. It is not publicly traded and disclosure obligations are less stringent than for public companies. The scope includes corporate governance, taxation, and commercial law. The next phrase is private nuisance. Private nuisance is an unlawful interference with an individual's use or enjoyment of their property. It typically involves noise, odors, or physical encroachments. Remedies include injunctions, damages, or abatement under tort law. The next phrase is notice of default. A notice of default is a formal communication to a party that they have failed to meet a contractual or legal obligations. It serves as a prerequisite to enforce remedies such as a termination or foreclosure. Its scope spans contracts, loans, leases, and statutory obligations. The next phrase is on-account payment. An on-account payment is a partial payment made towards a larger debt or obligation. It reduces the outstanding balance that does not discharge the full liability. This term is common in commercial transactions, accounting, and contract settlements. The next term is privilege. Privilege is a legal right to withhold certain information from disclosure in a legal proceedings. Common types include attorney-client privilege, spousal privilege, and a parliamentary privilege. Its scope is primarily in evidence law and procedural protections. The next phrase is mortgage assignment. Mortgage assignment occurs when a mortgagee transfers the rights and interest of a mortgage to another party. The assignee can enforce the mortgage and receive payments. This is relevant in banking, real estate, and secured lending transactions. The next phrase is prior art. Prior art refers to existing knowledge, publications, or inventions that are relevant to evaluating the novelty of a patent application. It determines whether an invention is new and patentable. Its scope is in intellectual property law and a patent examination. The next phrase is process server. A process server is a person authorized to deliver legal documents such as summonses or subpoenas to parties involved in a legal proceeding. Proper service ensures the court can exercise jurisdiction. This role is critical in civil procedure and enforcement of court orders. The next phrase is standing committee. A standing committee is a permanent legislative or organizational committee that reviews, examines, and reports on specific matters. It ensures continuity and expertise in legislative or administrative functions. Its scope includes parliamentary law, corporate governance, and regulatory oversight. The next phrase is statute of limitations. A statute of limitations sets the maximum time after an event within which legal proceedings can be initiated. It prevents indefinite threats of lawsuits and ensures timely claims. The scope varies across criminal, civil, and contractual law.